Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our morning shoot around for Friday, October 2nd. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. And if you haven't went and checked out our website at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and cash lineups. We have everything that you need. Truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. So before we get into anything, bro, tonight the money team cashed big again. Fanduel and Draftkings cashed all entries. Bro, I'm a cash game player. You know how cash games is you kind of take it a little bit slower with things. Hey, up an easy 3K this week, and we're barely into Thursday. 5-day winning streak right now. Hey, things have been on fire. So before we go any farther in this video, you got 40 minutes, okay? Take a quick second. Go check out our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at RotoBeast. Check out the results for yourself. Ask yourself, why have you not joined the money team? Hey, check it out. Stop missing out. I'm telling you. So, hey, Jeremy, how you doing out there? Sorry, bro. I'll just, pumped up about NBA right now. I've been making hella bread, going on vacation tomorrow. So I'm like, cool, got some extra money to spend now. Like, things are really good right now.
Yeah, man. And this shoot around video, you can't miss this video, man. There's so many picks that we give you every single night that are absolute must plays. Just the last 4 or 5 nights. Talk about guys that we gave out on the video the night before, yesterday, and then you look at guys, Mason Plumlee again today in the video last night, a Kyrie Irving, a guy we're all over, drops 49. Lou Williams, we told you, finally at $5,000 could hit value, goes for 30. So don't miss this video, man. We're basically breaking the whole slate down. Got plenty of free picks up in here for you. I know your cash line went off tonight. The core I gave out on our channel absolutely went nuts again, too. We had Plumlee in it. He goes 7.6x. We had Kyrie. He goes over 6x. We had Lou Williams. He goes over 5.9x. So, hey, if you're not with us right now, you are definitely missing out. And everything we do, man, is straight up in the optimizer.
Hey, straight up. Like I said, hey, you can go check out the results for yourself on any of our social media. Hey, Optimizer's been crazy. We got a couple new features that have just been added, and we got a couple more coming. Everything's going very well with the site right now. We got some great content up. Outside of these videos we post on YouTube. So make sure and check it out, man. dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, Jeremy, man, I'm ready to get into this slate, talk some basketball. How about yourself?
Yeah, man. Let's keep this thing going.
All right. Well, we got a solid 8-game slate. It's Friday. Friday's the day where people get to get home, chill, put their lineups in, relax, crack a cold one, and just watch some basketball. So hey, let's get people on the winning track for Friday. So the first game that we're gonna go ahead and start with is gonna be the Los Angeles Clippers going into Orlando to face the Magic. This game has a 217 implied total, and the Clippers are favored by 1.5 in this game.
Dude, sometimes I don't understand what FanDuel does, to be honest with you, because there's so many days where teams are on a back-to-back and the pricing for somebody doesn't change. It's like kind of like baking the cake. We know, like, if you get a guy at a good price today and they play again tomorrow, his price isn't going to change. And I'm just going to start with Lou Williams. The guy's $5,000 today. The slate locks at 4 o'clock Pacific time. There's no way to know what he's going to do, and he's 5,300, up $300 today off of making value. But I still think at 5,300 he's a very fair price. 29.2 tonight did reach that value, like I said. So Lou Williams, as long as he stays in this price range, he shot the ball 19 times tonight, right? So 26 points, 29.2 fantasy points. If he's starting to heat up a little bit, you can still catch him at a great buy low opportunity. So that's where I'll start that thing off at. The other play that is definitely worth mentioning is Tobias Harris, $7,700. It's not an exciting play by any means, but the guy's been very consistent. And this is a matchup where power forwards do have success against Orlando. Vucevic, we've said it many times, the guy does not like to go near the basket. He likes to knock down the baseline jumper, the elbow jumper. He's not a put his back to the post type player. Power forwards have good success against Orlando. They got a lot of holes down there for rebounds. And Tobias Harris can play the perimeter game and knock down jumpers as well. Another play, it really looks like the dude that's legit going to get the majority of the playing time at center is Boban Marjanovic. You can definitely punt with this guy at 3,600 on the 8-game slate. Tonight, 38.7 fantasy points. Look, we know Boban can do this. We know when he was in Detroit, if Drummond was out, Boban was an auto start because he was $3,500. The guy's a point per minute monster. He's always been that. It's just a matter, is he going to get minutes? If they're going to play him 22 minutes like they did today, but the other part of that equation is Gortat. Gortat is not a good center in the NBA anymore. He's not getting minutes. He's not effective. He's not efficient. If they're going to run small ball for the most part, and then they're going to run in Marjanovic and play him between 10, 15 minutes a game, you can't really play him at 10. You can punt him, but if he's going to get 22 minutes and he's going to be $3,600, this guy's a must start against a team that doesn't defend centers or power forwards very well. Easy pump for me. So Boban Marjanovic, easily worth the look tomorrow. Tobias Harris, kind of a borderline play for me. And then Lou Williams, again, you can still keep playing this guy as long as his value is, or his price is in this $5,000 range where he can reach value.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm looking on the Orlando side of things, and I mean, honestly, nothing just really jumping out to me. I mean, I'm not going to look at a guy like Augustine. Fournier, I mean, he's interesting. His price is down. But the biggest problem, I mean, if you look at all these Orlando guys, is their minutes are 27 minutes. 26, 27 minutes, and, the price tags are fair. They're not even like dirt cheap. Fournier, 5,700, I mean, you need at least 28 for him to hit value. And, I mean, the past 2 games, he's got you 14 and 11, and it wasn't against the best teams. So for him, I think he's a GPP play, just because the price is decent. Aaron Gordon, definitely too high price for me at 8,000. I mean, he is locked into right around the 32-minute range, I would say. One of the more guys that does get hit minutes for sure. And he's just coming off a good game. But he's just so up and down for me. You could consider him GPP. And the only other guy I would really consider is Pitch, but his price is at 9,000. He can definitely pay those off, but look at his minutes, past 221 and 27. So I mean, the minutes on Orlando are really just a scary thing. The combination of the minutes and the price tags are a little bit higher than we really want. I'm not really going to be looking at Orlando, outside of those 3 guys.
You know what? The guy that I'd be interested in playing on the Orlando side is Mohamed Bamba. I like this guy, man. I keep saying it on videos at $4,700, but I think maybe now at $4,700 he's too expensive to play for 20 minutes a game. The crazy thing is that if you look at his game log, 24 minutes against Sacramento, 32 points. Then he gets 20 minutes against Portland, 21.4 points. 24 points back against Miami, 27.4 points. So, the Clippers don't have a center. This is another guy that I think is a value play that is probably pretty viable as a tournament option tomorrow in that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely think he's a solid, GPP play as well. So, yeah, I mean, I'm ready to move on. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So the next game we're going to go to is going to be Houston going into Brooklyn to face the Nets. Houston's still going to be without James Harden in this game. This game has a 216 implied total, and Houston's favored by 3.5. So, oh, man, you got the good side of things. So get us started with that.
So Harden goes through practice today, but it's still highly doubtful that he's going to play tomorrow. I guess you could hold out hope and say that, I hope James Harden plays. James Harden's yet to reach value at his price. 11.6 is where he's at. Coming in off a hamstring injury, if he were to play tomorrow, you can't play him at 11.6. I don't believe coming in off a hamstring injury. There's just too many variables there where he could tweak something, not get the minutes he needs, or they ease him back in or something like that. We're still early in the season. So James Harden's not on my radar tomorrow, and I highly doubt that he does go. But Chris Paul is definitely borderline must play with him out. Chris Paul has not had a great game yet. In his price, exactly. So he hasn't had a good game with Harden out yet. We know what his usage does when Harden is out. 37 minutes and 34 minutes without Harden, but just did not have the fantasy production that we were looking for. But the price definitely got a price break on it. Eric Gordon is always a really good play. His price dipped down to 5,500. This guy was at 6,500 a couple of days ago. We got $1,000 price break on Eric Gordon. If James Harden does not play again, you're looking at a guy that's playing almost 39 minutes in a couple of these contests, but averaging at about 32 minutes a game at $5,500. So he's definitely playable. And you have to keep mentioning this dude, PJ Tucker, at $5,500, man. I mean, he's playing 35 minutes a game, and you're going into a situation with Brooklyn where they're not a great rebounding team. They haven't been a great rebounding team for a long time. And this is a guy that fills up all those ancillary stat categories. He gets you steals, he gets you blocks, he gets you assists, he gets you rebounds. And then if he gets you 8 or 10 points, it's a monster night for him. So at $5,500 for the minutes he's playing, you have to mention him. Carmelo Anthony going back to the East Coast, his price is down also, down from $6,700 to $6,200. I think Carmelo Anthony is also playable in this spot. He'll get you 30 minutes. Carmelo Anthony is capable of going off at any particular time. And then the guy I really like in this game is Clint Capella at $8,400. I think, Capella and Chris Paul are the two guys that I really expected to go off without Harden and have monster games. Capella had some really good matchups against Portland and against the Clippers. The Clippers really without his center, like we keep talking about. He didn't have a bad game, 14 points, 15 assists. He just didn't get you any blocks. He only got one. And then the Portland game against Nurkic, only 37.3, and his price tag was a little inflated. So against Brooklyn, I like this matchup. I think almost all these starters are playable tomorrow on the Houston side of it. And Brooklyn's been keeping the game close. I mean, they've been staying in games. They stayed in the game with the Warriors. They're staying in games. So I don't think there's a blowout factor here at all.
Yeah, no, I was kind of thinking the same thing. They haven't been bad. That's definitely for sure. So, I mean, on the Brooklyn side of things, there's two guys that I'm liking. I'm just going to keep it short and simple. Karis LeVert, thing about Brooklyn is, everybody's really in a timeshare. You got D'Angelo Russell, Dinwiddie. You got nobody's playing small forward. So the guy that really stands out to me on the Brooklyn side is Karis LeVert. The guy, I mean, last game he got 39 minutes. He's been regularly in the 30 minutes. He is the one guy that does, get his minutes. And the guy's shown us he has some definite fantasy upside. 39 minutes against Detroit. He went off for 19, 6, 6, and 2 steals, so he fills up the stat sheet. 40 fantasy points, which was 6x on his price. It has went up a couple hundred, but I still like him. I think he's in a great spot. And the other guy that I'm looking at on the Brooklyn side of things is Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. This guy, he showed us in the past. He's really good. The past 2 games, he came back from injury. He started this season, he was injured. As he's come back, he's starting to get more and more minutes. Past 2 games, he got 27, 24, the highest so far in the season, and he got 32 and 23 fantasy points. So this is a guy that's going to get 28 minutes. We know this guy can definitely fill up the stat sheet, gets a bunch of defensive stats as well. So I think at a 5.4 price tag, I think that's interesting for Hollis-Jefferson and GPPs. Yeah, so for me, it's just Karis LeVert and Hollis-Jefferson. I know a lot of people are probably going to ask about this guy, Jarrett Allen. But, I mean, I'm not going to play him against Capella. Capella's a big dude. And, on a 6.5 price tag for Allen, he hasn't really been – you need for value about 33, and he's only got there, one time in the last 6 games. So it's not somebody I'm really looking at. And I'm ready to move on if you are.
Yeah, keep it pushing.
All right, man. Next game we're going to look at is going to be the Indiana Pacers going into Chicago to face the Bulls. This game has a 215 implied total, and Indiana is favored by 7 in this one. So get us started with the Indiana side of things, man.
So I think you got to go right to Sabonis. His price is up a little bit, but look, this guy he's been playing extremely well for the entire season. He's had one dud game really where he had 19.9. He had missed the one game with the knee soreness. Other than that, he's actually 2 dud games, 20.5 against Cleveland in 21 minutes. But other than that, the guy has exceeded value every single time he's on the floor. Blows up last night at Madison Square Garden, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. And he turned the ball over 6 times. So this is a 50-point game if he doesn't turn the ball over. So Sabonis is a guy I really like. I think he's definitely their best big man. And this is another situation that it's well documented. There's not a center in Chicago. Robin Lopez getting 0 minutes basically. I mean, he has not played since 10-22 where he got 9 minutes. Felicio, this dude. He's playing a little bit, but Felicio is not a center. I mean, this guy's like a foul. This guy just fouls basically is in there just to hack and get as many fouls as he can until they can't play him. You know, he's looking at 15 to 20 minutes a game, not very productive or efficient. So there's not a center here. You have to like Miles Turner a little bit because of that. Miles Turner is a very, very skilled big man, but Miles Turner just hasn't had the production, and neither is Thaddeus Young. The production's really come from Sabonis. Oladipo, you got to like him in this game. Price tag a little bit steep at $9,000. You're paying $9,000 basically for a guy who can't get you tournament value. He can get you tournament value. I shouldn't say he can't get you tournament value. He can get you tournament value. He has yet to get you tournament value. He hasn't gone 6x plus. He doesn't have a 54-point game. So for me, when I start looking at a guy's price tag, I look at his game log to see, has he been there and how many times has he been there? What are the odds of getting there? He hasn't been at 54 yet, you know, or 54 plus. So I don't know if we can count on that 60-point game in this one. And Darren Collison at 5,300, we've talked about it before. Every time we have Indiana on the slate, their backcourt's a mess, right? You know, Collison's getting minutes. I thought it was stabilizing a little bit, but you know, you just go back to their last game at the Garden last night, and he only plays 23 minutes, coming off a 36-minute game against Portland. So I'm not really playing anybody on this side besides Sabonis.
Yeah, and then I mean on the Chicago side of things, I think there's a couple obvious plays.
Wendell Carter. Just say Wendell Carter.
You know, he had a good game. Thing about, you know, for me is, I mean, I'm gonna check the guy out. So past 3 games, 22, 26. Last game, he got 37 minutes. So that's crazy that he got that many minutes. I mean, if he's going to get minutes, even low 30s consistently, I do like the guy. The price tag is up. He's got at least 32, 3 straight games coming off the monster 60 fantasy point game. For me, with the price tag up, though, I want to see him do it again before I really start, you know, going crazy over him. But I think he definitely is a good GPP play. Then you got to look at their obvious best player, Zach LaVine. The guy's just been going crazy, playing a ton of minutes, averaging 28 real-life points a game, filling up the stat sheet. And, I mean, the price tag is fair for what he's doing. He's averaging 40 fantasy points on the season. Price tag 8.3, you need about 41, 42. So about right there where he's at. And he definitely has 50 fantasy point upside. I think this game is going to be a very, you know, up-tempo, back-and-forth game. Him and Oladipo are probably going to be going at each other, trying to outdo each other. So, you know, bring out a little bit more competitive edge in LaVine. I think he's obviously the best play on the Bulls side of things. And then, I mean, honestly, you mentioned Wendell Carter. You know, Parker, his price tag's up. You know, he's kind of like, you know, he played 30 minutes, then he goes to 25, then 34, then 25, then 35. He's just so up and down for me. With the 6.9 price tag, you need at least 35, and he's got you, you know, 35 in 2 of the 4 games, with, you know, 2 of them pretty much being duds. So for me, it's just going to be LaVine, really. You know, you can look at Wendell Carter for GPP. I mean, the only other guy, I mean, you can look at Justin Holiday a little bit, but his price tag's creeping up, but he definitely is getting minutes. He's more of a GPP guy. The only problem with him is, you know, you're depending on him to knock down 3-pointers to really get you a bunch of fancy points. So I'm just going to stick to LaVine and Wendell Carter for the Bulls. You ready to move on?
Keep it pushing.
All right, bro. So next we're going to go with the OKC Thunder going into Washington to face the Wizards. This game has a 230 implied total, and Washington's favored by 3 in this one.
Hey, man, Russ is starting to catch a little bit of a rhythm. I believe his price is down $500 from today's slate at 12.2. He's 11.7, 59.6, 57.8, 50.3 in his last 3 games. I thought tonight we had an opportunity to get that monster 70-point game. He was looking like he was going to get there. 10 assists, he almost gets a triple-double, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 29 points. I love him in this spot in Washington. I know they're on the second half of a back-to-back, but guards have been killing Washington. You know, Schroeder, I'm going to keep staying away from Schroeder at $5,100. I just don't, you know, he played 30 minutes tonight. He, you know, 33.1. He got 6X. He was a really good play tonight, but I'm going to keep staying away from that. I just don't see the need to go there. You know, Paul George, 9,800. I think Paul George's price has crept up a little bit beyond where he can get you value. You're talking like tomorrow night, he needs to get you 60 plus really to reach tournament value at 9.8. Can he do it? Yes, but they have good perimeter defenders in Bradley Beal and Otto Porter, very long defenders. So I'll stay away from that. But I will definitely go back to Steven Adams. Dwight Howard expected to come back. I don't expect Dwight Howard to play a full complement of minutes tomorrow in his first game back. And I just like this dude, Steven Adams, a lot, man. $7,500. Mentioned him on the video last night. He goes out, gets 35.4 fantasy points today, and had a really bad shooting night, only scored 5 points. But he got you 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 3 steals. That's what this dude does. He fills up all the categories. Great pick and move player, great pick and roll player with Russ. And when Russ really is going, he'll get a lot of easy dump-off assists to Steven Adams. So right now, I think this is a good situation for Oklahoma City because it's a team trying to find rhythm like we've talked about before and playing a good game tonight, a good, tight, tough game tonight, and then getting a chance to go right back at it tomorrow and keep trying to sustain that rhythm. So Adams and Russell Westbrook, I think, Westbrook at 11-7, it's really hard not to play him tomorrow.
Yeah, no, we're going to get on the train and start having him in cash lineup, sometimes 3 or 4 games in a row that he plays. It happens every year. Russell Westbrook definitely starting to get there. So on the Washington side of things, I mean, I'm going to start off with the obvious guys. You got to look at John Wall. Very, very fair price tag at a 9.4. I like John Wall anytime he's under 10K. I understand the last 2 games, he hasn't had the absolute, craziest games. But, I mean, we know John Wall has 50 fantasy point upside any night. It's a very fair price for him. Going against Westbrook, definitely think that he's going to, step up to the challenge, and they're going to go head-to-head. So I like John Wall tomorrow. You look at Bradley Beal, the guy. I mean, he's a guy puts up mad, 3-pointers every game. And he's a really good player. I like Bradley Beal. 8.2, you need 40 for him to hit value, averaging 37 on the season. I like Bradley Beal. I think he's a really good play. I like and then it's like, who do they have? Even so, Westbrook's a pretty good defender. He's going to be on Wall. And then, they don't have Robertson right now. So it's like, they don't have a good defender that can really run around with Bill and kind of stop him. So I think Bill is probably in a little bit better spot than John Wall. I like Otto Porter, very fair price tag, 6,000. He's always going to get his minutes right around 30 minutes. He gets blocks, does a little bit of everything. He hasn't had a monster game, and I'm not going to say it's going to be here against Paul George, but he's one of those guys. I've seen him rise up to a challenge against better players as well, and I think he can have a good game. Very fair price tag. And outside of that, I mean, it's all the other stuff is a mess. So we got Markieff Morris coming back. He's cleared from the concussion protocol. He's going to play, his close to 30 minutes. You got Dwight Howard coming back. He hasn't played all year, so we don't know how that rotation is going to go. So where does that really leave a guy like Oubre or Jeff Green? It's probably going to be Green's going to fall out the rotation. Oubre is probably going to steal a couple Otto Porter minutes. So I kind of want to take a wait-and-see approach on the big guys, for the Washington Wizards. So for me, I think Bradley Beal is the best play. And then, you definitely have to look at John Wall as well.
These dudes have been on the road for a nasty 5-game road trip. That's the thing you got to look at, too. So back home, sleeping in their own beds, I think John Wall, Bradley Beal, really solid plays. This is a really good game tomorrow. What are the numbers on it? What's the over-under?
230.
Yeah, I might take the over in this game, man. I think this is a really good game. I think John Wall, Bradley Beal have really solid games tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to the next game, we got New York going into Dallas to face the Mavericks. This game has a 218 implied total. So this one's a lot lower than the last game, 12 points lower. So 218. Dallas is favored by 6 in this game against the Knicks at home. Get us started with the Knicks side of things.
Man, a couple.
I'm glad you got that side. Yeah.
Hey, we talked about it, right? We talked about it when the Knicks were on the slate yesterday. So 2 nights ago, we talked about it with what's going on with.
Hey, Jay, real quick. Hey, let me tell you something real quick. I forgot to tell you this earlier. Let me tell you something real quick, all right? I didn't mean to interrupt you. My bad. Hey, you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so check this out, bro. So I coach at a high school. I coach high school basketball, right? And I have a bunch of my coaching friends. We always hang out, drink beers, like watch sports together. So one time we were hanging out the other day, and they're all like, "Yeah, what do you do? Explain it." So I broke down the site, what we do, etc. I got these guys playing daily fantasy sports, right? So they've been playing all week. We're on a 5-day win streak right now. So these guys haven't tasted a loss yet. Today, I was telling these dudes bet. $10, $15. These dudes are sending me their screenshots after tonight's slate, betting like 75, $80. One of the coaches that I coach with, he made like 350 tonight, bro. Hey, these dudes, they know absolute nothing about DFS, bro. Like literally, I just showed them, okay, you get our package, you get your email. I showed them what entries to get, like on our video we did for bankroll management. And these dudes have been cashing out. My coaching friends that know nothing about DFS, bro.
That happens to me every year. Everybody wants all the advice when it comes to their fantasy drafts and all this stuff, and their teams start to fall off, and then they want to get into Fanduel and DK, and it's like, what's your site? What do you do? We're far enough along now where all these dudes know what it is, right? But it's the same thing, man. That's good. That's good. Keep those dudes cashing.
All right, so yeah, man. So get us going with that New York side of things for sure.
So we've talked about the minutes here. The crazy thing is the guy that it looked like was going to get a bunch of minutes at center, they kind of made this youth movement, was Mitchell Robinson, gets himself into some foul trouble, and then only plays 17 minutes. So, the guy that it seems to be the biggest beneficiary of this youth movement is Frank Nicolina. He's solid in the 30 minutes for the last 2 games, and if you really look, he's played more than 30 minutes in 4 of the last 5 games. So $5,300, you could play this guy in this matchup. Dallas has not been great against point guards. If he gets a full complement of minutes again, I think he can easily exceed value. Tim Hardaway Jr., his price is starting to get a little bit out of control at $7,600. But he puts up 37 points. Here's the thing: you have to be efficient in daily, right? You have to be efficient. Scoring real life points, putting the ball in the basket is great. But if you don't get any other stats to go with it, then you're not efficient, right? So he scores 37 real points, but he gets 34.7 fantasy points. So he had more real points than fantasy points. It's not really efficient, right? So, at that price, 7,600, I'm not really sure I like Hardaway in this spot, especially with a great defender like Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews is a very good defender. Hezonja, I'm not sure if I want to play him either. $3,600. You're talking about a guy who played 1 game at 30 minutes, and then now he's down to the 12-minute mark. So I don't know where they're playing who, and the only guy besides Hardaway they seem committed minutes to now is Vonleh, and this dude was basically a backup player in Portland last year. He's a good young rebounder. The dude is, and he's a kind of a double-double guy. So, Vonleh, but the thing is, here goes his price again, right? $5,700, big price jump, right? I believe it was $4,800 last night when he was on the slate, and he's now $5,700. So I'm not sure I want to look at him in this spot. There's some other value. So I think for me, the Knicks probably just a full fade. I don't know if there's anybody I really want to plug into a lineup.
Yeah, then on the Dallas side of things, I really like Dallas going into the Lakers, and we talked about that 2 nights ago. And a bunch of their main guys busted. You had Dennis Smith. He had 10 fantasy points. 10 fantasy points against the Lakers. That was like his lowest score or second lowest scoring outing of the season. Horrible. It's like even DeAndre Jordan, what'd he do? 24 fantasy points. I thought that dude was going to have a monster. 24 was his actual lowest on the season. So a couple of these guys let me down, but I'm going to go right back to the well. First thing first, you got Dennis Smith, 6,500, very fair price tag for him. He's a guy we know he's going to score 15 to 20 points every night. You get you some assists, fill up the stat sheet a little bit. I like him, very fair price tag. You go to shooting guard. Doncic is obviously he's in play. Definitely the guy showing us he's a baller. He has a little bit of upside, but I just don't think he has upside on this price tag. That's a problem with Doncic for me. 8.1. You need 41 for him to hit value. And he's only really got 41 one time this whole season. So you're telling me I need something that he's only got one time this whole season just for him to hit value? I'm going to stay away from that. Wesley Matthews is the guy I definitely think you could look at. Think about it with him is his price tag is going up. I just played him last night, and I think he was 4.8 as well. Price tag jumped almost 1,000. So and then he's one of those guys like you talked about. He relies on scoring. If he doesn't score, we're not going to get no fantasy points from him. But I definitely think that he's probably in play. Harrison Barnes, I talked about him against the Lakers. He didn't do too bad. Price tag's still fair. You need 30 for him to hit value. He got 26 last game against the Lakers. He's got at least 26 in 3 of the past 4 games since coming back. So Harrison Barnes is a really, really good play. So far, I think it's Harrison Barnes and DeAndre Jordan, I think, are my favorite plays for the Mavericks. The thing about DeAndre Jordan is his price tag's up as well, just like you were talking about some of the Knicks guys. The price tags are jumping up quickly right now, but this is the fun time of DFS. This is when it makes it a lot harder for people, and people actually have to play with numbers and work things out just so they could get guys in because beginning of the year it's easy. People are dirt cheap and you can pretty much get whoever you want. So with the higher prices now, it does make it funner for people like us to research all day every day. So for me on the Maverick side of things, I'm gonna look at Dennis Smith, Doncic as a strictly GPP play. Wesley Matthews, Harrison Barnes is a really good play, and then lastly DeAndre Jordan as GPP. But cash, I think that the only one you really could even look at is Harrison Barnes.
I think JJ Barea is an outstanding tournament play tomorrow at $4,000. I think it seems like Barea is like one of the only guys that has steady minutes in the rotation for them as far as minutes in production goes. He dealt with a little bit of a hamstring injury, so he had kind of a 15 turn, but he's been a 20-minute player pretty much this season. He's crushed value multiple times. So I like Barea a lot in this matchup, especially because you really got one guard hogging up the majority of the minutes. Then it seems like Tim Hardaway kind of rolls over the point guard position when these other dudes like Burke and what's the other dude shooting guard for them? Dotson. When those guys are in the game, I think Barea could smash value tomorrow.
He just I played him when Dennis Smith was out, and I thought he was going to get some minutes with him not being there. The guy just not getting the minutes. That's my problem with him.
He got hurt. It was back at the Atlanta game.
Okay.
When Dennis Smith Jr. was out, and then Barea started off really hot. I want to say, let me look at that game log because it'll refresh my memory. But I want to say, yeah, he played 19 minutes, got 24.9, and then he ended up tweaking his hamstring and leaving the game. So
that game was against Toronto. I was looking at Dennis Smith's game log. He missed the game against Toronto.
Was it against Toronto?
Yeah, it was against Toronto. Barea played 15 minutes.
He tweaked his hamstring.
I'm not sure, but no, I get you though. I like Barea. It's all about minutes with him for sure. He's a good fantasy points per minute kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, me too, bro. So, hey, our boy Say Less is in the chat, bro. He's talking about Toronto and Phoenix game. All we got to do is say Siakam and just move on. Yeah, I told him he still got the same picture, though. I thought he was going to change it.
Yeah, I'm glad to see he didn't change his picture, man. It means he's got thick skin. I like that.
All right, man. So, yeah, let's get into the next game. Next game that we are going to look at, it is going to be Memphis going into Utah to face the Jazz. This game actually doesn't have a Vegas total yet, and we don't, obviously have over and under. Still waiting on some injury news, depending on what we got going on. Hold on 1 second for me, real quick. If I was looking at this right, is Mitchell out tomorrow? Is that already? Oh, yeah, see Mitchell. So Vegas doesn't have a total because Mitchell's out. So they probably don't know what to make it as yet. Mitchell is Utah's best scorer. But we'll jump into that. I'll let you get started with your side of things.
For me, it really keep it simple, right? I don't like very much on this side of it. I'll say that you could play Mike Conley in tournaments tomorrow. You can streamline Mike Conley if you want based off the Derrick Rose game. Mike Conley is not going to score 50 points tomorrow in real life points, but he will give you 28 to 35 minutes. And his last 5 games, he's been over 30 points every single time. He's been over 40 points twice, and he's been over 37 twice. So $7,700. This would be a really low-owned GPP play. You can play him. I don't like Gasol in this spot with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, this dude's a beast, man. Rudy Gobert is a beast. He's a very underrated center in the league. And, I'm not looking to play Jaren Jackson Jr. in this spot either at 5,700 against this front court of Utah. So, that's really it for me. I know people want to play Kyle Anderson because Kyle Anderson fills up the stat sheet, but that's really what he does. This isn't the spot for me to play Kyle Anderson. I'm not going to chase a 33-point game against Washington. Just not going to do it. So that's really it for me, man.
Yeah, so on the Utah side of things, bro, I'm trying to figure out. So Utah, you got Donovan Mitchell out. So I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna get some good value. He's gonna open up right there, right? So then I look at his backups. I know his backup's a baller, Alec Burks. That dude's a baller, bro. And he's out. So now I'm like, so who the hell is gonna start as shooting guard? The only other shooting guard I see on the roster is Grayson Allen.
Burks hasn't been ruled out yet. He's still a game time decision.
Oh yeah, he said he was ruled out last game. Okay, I get you.
Yeah,
but especially if he's out. So if he's not out and they're playing minutes, that would be a good punt play. But if he's ruled out, then it's kind of like who are they going to play after that? So that's an interesting situation to monitor tomorrow as news comes out. So I'll start at the point guard spot though. Ricky Rubio. I love Ricky Rubio on these price tags, 6.2. This guy showed us earlier this year. He showed us a bunch of times last year. The guy can fill up the stat sheet. It's all about shooting with him. When he shoots well, he has monster games. When he doesn't, he gets his other assists. So he gets his other stats, assists, couple of rebounds, couple of steals usually. So he gives you a decent floor. But he does have some upside on a 6.2 price tag, so I like him. The only bad part about Rubio is going against Mike Conley, who is a good defender. I definitely want to mention that. Small forward, you can look at a guy like Crowder. They're figuring out ways to get Crowder minutes, and he's averaging close to 30 minutes a game. And he's a guy that does a little bit of everything. He's averaging 25 fantasy points on the season. He needs 25 to hit value on this 5,000 price tag, right there where he's at. I definitely like Crowder, and I could see them possibly, going a little bit bigger, maybe throwing Crowder at the 2 a little bit, I would think, with Ingles still at the 3. Play both those guys together. You got to look at Ingles. The guy's, he's solid, and he's been balling out this year. He's one of those guys that definitely gets his minutes, and they're going to need some scoring without Mitchell. Ingles can definitely score the ball, so I definitely think he's going to get some extra shots. Derek Favors, 5.3. This guy, he's a good player, but they just never commit to giving him no minutes. So, 5.3, though, is a very fair price tag. 25 for value. He's a guy that showed us last year. He has 40 fantasy point upside. So I think he's a decent play. And then lastly, you just look at the center and you got Gobert. The problem with Gobert, I'm going to be honest, I'm not paying $10,000. I understand that he's got 57, 57, and 53. I understand. But the guy scored 25, 23, and 22 actual points. And we know this guy is not a guy who's going to score 20 points every night. That's not what he is. You know what I'm saying? So I am not paying $10,000, possibly maybe a couple of GPPs, probably going to be low owned on this price tag. But I just think he's a little bit too expensive for me. And another guy too, actually, that's a really good point. One of the guys in the chat, was saying possibly Exum could get some minutes if both of those shooting guards are ruled out. And, Exum's a good player. I like Exum. And if he's going to get some minutes alongside Rubio at that shooting guard spot and play about 25 minutes, that's what he got last game, then I think Exum would be a good punt play as well. So that's really all I got for the Utah side of things.
So if Burks is out with Mitchell, that's definitely the beneficiary is Exum, because what they'll do is they'll start Rubio. They'll move Joe Ingles to the 2. We know Joe Ingles in the past has played the point guard position for him when they've had guys out. Last year they had a situation where they had Rubio, Exum, and Burks all out. So Joe Ingles still in that point guard position. So he'll play the 2. They'll start Crowder at the 3. They'll start Favors at the 4, and then Gobert will play the 5. And they'll have a very small rotation. So they're I think as a whole, because they'll have such a small rotation, if they have both Mitchell and Burks out, I think that elevates Utah as a whole for tournaments.
Yeah, so if Crowder's gonna start tomorrow at the small forward spot, the Eagles gonna go to shoot guard, then I love Crowder at 5,000. Very fair price tag for him. And they're gonna need some scoring too. And we know Crowder he can score the ball a little bit as well. So
you're looking at an 8-man rotation too in that situation. You're looking at a very tight rotation and a lot of minutes for those guys in that game.
Right. So moving on, we'll go to the game. Hey, like my boy Sayles said, hey man, we can just talk about Siakam 5,700 and we can move on. No, I'm just kidding. But you got Toronto going into Phoenix to face the Suns. We're waiting on some injury news. Mainly, we're just waiting on injury news on the Phoenix side of things. Devin Booker. So this game doesn't have a total, doesn't have a over under yet. But get us started with the Toronto side of things, please.
This is such an ugly game. This is the exact repeat of San Antonio coming in here, except this is a better basketball team. So you have to really watch who you play. If you play anybody on the Toronto side, you're really expecting them to fill up the stat sheet in 3 quarters or 2.5 quarters. This game should. If Devin Booker plays, it doesn't matter to me because Kawhi Leonard's an elite defender who will shut the guy down. You can just look at what Devin Booker did in his game logs against the Spurs in the past. Didn't have very good games against them. So, I'm not sure $9,000 is what you want to spend on Kyle Lowry in a blowout game because this game will blow out, and it'll blow out big if Booker doesn't play. Booker may be able to keep them in the game. But here's the thing with Booker, right? And I know that he's on the Phoenix side. Booker, as we've said in videos before, he has a tendency to just turn the ball over a ton. And now you're going against a guy in Kawhi Leonard. That's my number one play if I'm going to play anybody from this game is Kawhi Leonard because Phoenix turns the ball over so much. I mean, you're talking about a guy who gets a ton of steals already, and you're talking about a guy who blocks shots as well and is a premier defender in this league. So Kawhi Leonard at 10-3, probably starting to catch up. But if I'm going to play anybody from this game outside of Siakam, and if you're playing Siakam, you're basically looking at an opportunity where you want Siakam to get you garbage minutes as well. So, he's not going to get the 33 to 37 minutes that he got when Anunoby was out, but, he could get extended minutes if the game blows out early. And I don't think they're going to just not play Anunoby at all tomorrow. Anunoby's back in the rotation, so he should take some minutes away from Siakam. So I think they continue to go small. That lineup is working for him. Anunoby would probably slide right back into the starting. Unless you see a situation where Siakam is going to start, then I think maybe Anunoby becomes a really good play at 3,700 coming off the bench, and he could see extended minutes in a blowout situation where they just try to get him back in a rhythm because he's been away from the team for a while. So Kawhi Leonard 10-3 if you want to take the risk. Other than that, the difference between the San Antonio and Phoenix game that was on the slate the other night, there's not very many really good pump plays. You could punt with a Van Vliet, who's a game time decision at 4,600. But, the one pump play that I would mention would be Norman Powell. Norman Powell could see some big minutes in this game if it does blow out.
Yeah, so on the Sun side of things, there's a couple guys that I'm interested in, and I just think because the coach already knows that they're gonna get their ass whooped pretty much. He's starting a couple new guys tomorrow, so even if they're getting their ass whooped, the starters are gonna be there, in my opinion. First thing first, if Isaiah Cannon is out, you can look at this guy Eli Akobo. He started the past 2 games. Played 30 and 28 minutes, and both matchups are pretty tough matchups against OKC and San Antonio.
Hey, bro, I don't know how much of that game you watched. I watched a ton of that game the Spurs game for one reason because I played Bertans in my core as a pump play that night, and I was borderline going to play this dude Akobo, but he got the majority of those 28 minutes he got in the last quarter and a half when nobody was in the game for San Antonio. Like they didn't play him. He started. They didn't give him very many minutes when it was, a meaningful game. Once the game blew out, that's when this dude got his minutes. So he for 4,100, I'm not sure I want to go there.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I didn't watch the game. I just figured that, he got some minutes and he did decent. But in that case, probably said, but then you got to think about this too, bro, is this game going to blow out. He's going to be a garbage time as well too.
Yeah, the game should blow out, but I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know where this dude's going to get. He got garbage time minutes is basically what I'm telling you because I didn't want you to just think he got 28.
we'll say dark shot punt play then. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the one guy I am interested in. All right, so I'm not touching this dude, Josh Jackson. He's horrible. Not touching him. But the guy that I am honestly really interested in, this guy last year, he was their second best player. It was Booker, and then it was TJ Warren. TJ Warren was playing 39 minutes a game last year. This dude was, scoring close to 20 points a game. I mean, the guy was getting 40 fantasy points on the regular. This season, I don't know how he fell out the rotation with the new coach. The new coach just wasn't filling him. So, make a long story short, last game against San Antonio, I understand it was a blowout, but he played 35 minutes, scored 21 real life points. And it's already been announced today that it's not 100% official, but they said it's probably going to happen. He's going to start tomorrow ahead of Ryan Anderson, and they're going to play small. And if this guy is going to start, and if he's going to play 35 minutes like he did last game, like I said, last year he was playing 37 minutes regularly. And if that's what's going to happen tomorrow, even if the game is a blowout, and he'll probably still get his 30-something minutes. And at a 5.4 price tag, I think that's just a very fair price tag for him. This price tag, you need about 27 to hit value. If he's going to start and play the minutes, I think that wouldn't be a problem getting that 27. And it's a guy with 40-point upside. So that's just kind of where I'm at. He's a guy that it really stands out for me on the Sun side. And then the only other guy I'm really going to talk about is, you can look at the young guy, DeAndre Ayton. The guy's been good. He's been very good on the season. The price tag, it's actually pretty fair for what he's been doing. You need about 37, 38 for him to hit value. He's averaging 36 on the slate. He's the one son that's getting his consistent minutes no matter what. He's averaging about 32 minutes a game. That's, for a team that, nobody else is getting guaranteed minutes and he's getting that. It does make me feel, pretty comfortable with it. So I think that either him, he's probably the main play from the Suns. And then if TJ Warren is going to get the start, then I definitely think he's a really good play as well. That's kind of where I'm at.
I'm not even there with you, bro. I can't even make the case. I can't even help you out.
All right. Well, let's move on to the last game of the night. This should be a good one. There's obviously – I'm going to tell you something right now. Before we even get started on this game, all right, I'm going to tell you something, okay? Derrick Rose tomorrow, 6,000 projected to be in the starting lineup. He's going to be 75% owned tomorrow. I'm just telling you.
Stupid. Let's just chase 50 points. I get it, though. I get it.
It's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen.
Well, here's the first thing that I know about that game, right? The first thing I know about that game and that spot is Golden State is number one against point guards. Number one. So, point guards haven't had a lot of success against Golden State so far this season. It's been other spots. So, surprisingly, small forward, there's a really good matchup on paper as far as DDP goes. But I get it. I know that Derrick Rose, people chase points. And for cash, when a guy's going to be that high owned, you got to just take it and move on because what he does really doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you got to think, too, 6,000 is really not that bad. You need 30 fantasy points. You know what I mean? And even before last game, I'm making the case because the case is there, bro. Even before last game, he was getting regularly 25, 26 fantasy points easily, had a 48 fantasy points earlier in the year, and then coming off this monster game. The guy's been playing well. He's averaging 32 fantasy points on the season. You know what I mean? So his price is really just where it should be.
Right. No, I agree. His price is where it should be. It's a fair price. It's just I hate chasing points. The guy went off. He was in a perfect spot to do that. He was really a must play for me once I knew that Jeff Teague wasn't playing. I didn't even look at Tyus Jones. I went straight to Derrick Rose just because of the spot he was in and how well he'd been playing before. And his price was so fair for what he'd been doing. And he'd been playing that small forward position a lot too with Wiggins out. So he slid in the point guard spot. Derrick Rose is healthy. Derrick Rose, we know what kind of player he was when he was in Chicago. So look, very fair price for him in an up-paced game against two really good teams in the Western Conference. I don't have a problem with the play. I just don't set your expectation right. He's not going to put up 50 points tomorrow. I just don't see that happening on back-to-back games.
I
Perfect
would.
spot. The dude shot the ball 30 times. I don't think he's going to get 30 shots tomorrow.
Right.
But what were you going to say?
I said I would guess and say he gets 25 fantasy points tomorrow. I could be wrong. I would
I
say
think he could hit. I think he could hit 5x in the game tomorrow. I think he can get you 5x, which is good for cash. And if he's 70% owned and gets you 5x, you'll take that all day long.
25 to 35. And that'll be my guess.
Yeah, and you could live with that all day long, right? I mean, all day long. So let's get into it. So you got injury designations for Jeff Teague and Tyus Jones again. If they're both out, we probably will not know that. They're very tight-lipped there in Minnesota. Don't like to announce things early. They like these real true game time decisions. The NBA has a terrible injury policy. I wish they'd move to something that's official like the MLB and NFL have, but we can't do anything about that. So Jeff Teague with the injury designation and Tyus Jones with the injury designation as well. Like you said, we covered the Derrick Rose situation. Jimmy Butler in the shooting guard spot. Really like Jimmy Butler at 9,600 in this game. They need production tomorrow. I don't expect Derrick Rose to get 30 shots again. I think this is, Jimmy Butler is going to find his way. And, even though, Derrick Rose did go off, Jimmy Butler wasn't in that game, and that's what gave him the opportunity to get 30 shots. When you got an Andrew Wiggins who's a passive player, you got a Karl Anthony Towns who's a passive player, and you got a dog like Derrick Rose, the dude's just a grimy player. He wants to punk you. So he, like I say, it was a perfect situation. Rose is not going to get 30 shots. Butler's going to get a ton of shots in this game as well. I do like Butler in this up-tempo game. I'm not going to play Wiggins. I'll pass on that. And then Karl Anthony Towns looks to really be coming into a little bit of a rhythm. And I think he's playable in this situation. 60 points in each of his last two games. Rudy Gobert, we talked about it. Very, very solid center. And he got 62 fantasy points against Rudy Gobert, 28 points. Karl Anthony Towns, I think, is still going to get his shot. But the guy that takes the biggest hit in this game, even if the other players are out, if both Teague and Jones are out, I think Derrick Rose is the guy who probably sees 12 shots to 15 shots. Jimmy Butler picks his shots up, and then Karl Anthony Towns still does what he does. So Towns is the other guy I like in this one. I'm not going to really look at playing anybody below Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson always seems to play well against the Warriors, always gives you a chance to get a double-double. Still playing solid minutes in his last two games. A little bit of a fall-off in the previous two games before that. But if Taj Gibson can go out tomorrow night, rebound the basketball, get you some second-chance opportunities, he's a good way to get exposure to cheap price in this game as well. So that pretty much covers Minnesota for me.
Yeah. So real quick, so I just want to give you a quick narrative, okay? And it makes sense. So that Karl Anthony Towns and Jimmy Butler hate each other, right? So the two times that Jimmy Butler sat out is when Karl Anthony Towns really went off, except for one time when he did go off against the Lakers. And Jimmy Butler did play. I will give him that one. But the two other times were the only other times that he did very, very well. So I'm just kind of like, I'm believing that narrative. Like they hate each other, so the guy just doesn't fucking want to play with them. You know what I mean?
I don't believe it. I honestly don't. I think Jimmy Butler is just a real person. I think Jimmy Butler just has no problem calling you out. And I think he called him out. And Karl Anthony Towns probably is a little bit of an immature punk and didn't like it. And he wants the big contract and all this stuff. And Jimmy Butler's hood, dude. And he just called him out, called him a bitch. And look, man up and play. And I think that's all it is. I don't think it's anything deeper than that. I think Jimmy Butler just wants to win.
I know, but what I mean with Anthony Towns is in his feelings, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Karl Anthony Towns just needs to put his big girl panties on and go play. And I don't think it's like a I hate you type, like a legitimate like I hate you, I want to hurt you. I think it's like you're a chump, prove me wrong, like show me. I think I think they can coexist. I think they can play together. I think Towns just has to go play.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get to the worst side of things. The worst side of things is obviously it's very easy. You look at all four starters. Minus Jones. I mean, you could definitely consider Jones as a punt play. He's just not really getting the minutes that I want. But you start with Curry. One thing I will note is Curry and Durant, both of their prices jumped. I think it was about 1,000 each. I don't remember their exact prices yesterday, but both of their prices jumped a lot. And Curry,
Curry was 9-2 yesterday, I believe.
so he jumped 1,500. Durant, I think, was 9.9, so that would be 800 for him.
Durant
But
was 9-9.
yeah, but if any of them two have a better chance to get value, I would go with Curry. Curry's just been shooting the ball absolute lights out. Derrick Rose isn't much of a defender. Curry's gonna light his ass up. But the thing is well, I want to pay 10-7. That's the thing is he the guy I want to pay it for on the slate. Durant he's not getting there on these prices. He's got, passing games 46, 33. He did have a couple 50 fantasy point games in a row, but then he was back to 31, 43. So Durant's definitely a good player. I just don't like him on these prices as much as I would rather pay it for Curry at the exact same price. Clay's a guy I'm really liking, starting to heat up past couple games. Shot the ball well for the most part. We obviously seen that 52 point game for him. The price tag hasn't went nowhere. It's still 6.5. Very fair price tag. I really actually like Clay a lot in this spot. He's a good price for sure. So Clay's in a good position, and then you can look at Draymond. Draymond price went up a little bit, but it was only 300, and he's starting to really play a lot better. You guys got to remember he didn't have no training camp, so the first couple of games he looked a little rusty, but then the past 4 in a row, 40 fantasy points, 46, 38, 46. He's starting to really get on a roll, and I really like Gordon in this game. I think that Green. I really like Green in this game, and I think he's gonna run Taj Gibson out this game, bro. I just don't think that Taj Gibson can run up and down with Draymond. I think Draymond's gonna end up guarding Anthony Towns. To be honest, is what I think is gonna happen. And I like Draymond in this spot. I definitely think that he's a really good play. So it's pretty much just like how it was when I was looking at the Warriors yesterday. The only difference is now you got Curry and Durant, their prices skyrocketed. Green and Thompson's price tags are still very fair. So, if you want to look for kind of cash game plays, I think possibly them. You can maybe throw in a Curry for some cash. But it's all about if the game is going to stay close or not. That's obviously always the major concern with the Warriors for sure. And that's really where I'm at. I'm not really going to look too far into the Warriors bench. Has been very skeptical on who's getting minutes. You got a lot of guys getting minutes some days and not the other days. The only really relevant guy that I like off the bench is possibly Jonas Jerebko, but 4,000, he's only getting 15 to 16 minutes a game. No, thank you, and that's really where I'm at with the Warriors.
33 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists is what Kevin Durant averaged last year against Minnesota. And the year before that, he averages 25, 7, and 9. This dude loves to play against Minnesota. I don't know if you remember that game last year. It was the last time they played each other in the regular season. I think it went to overtime. But Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant went nuts, just went at each other. Tomorrow, to me, feels like a KD game.
Yeah, I just don't like the price jump. That's just where I'm at with it. I just feel like Curry gives me a little bit more of a floor. But he's top 3 player in the league. Can't go wrong with the play. So I think that's about where I'm at. Let me check chat. If I got no questions, then I'm ready to get up out of here. Going to Lake Tahoe tomorrow, so I have to start packing. So real quick, what we got right here? We got Curry, yeah, Curry gets his. They're talking about the Warriors. Again, I'm going to put in 4, going to say Warriors in case they want to be heroes. And that's what I did yesterday. Said let's 4 Warriors for sure. If the game stays close, they'll get there. That's really what it is. But I don't see any other questions, so I think I'm about ready to get out of here. You got anything else?
There's just certain games, dude, and I've mentioned this before on this video that we do. There's certain games where Kevin Durant, it's a Kevin Durant game, and I'll explain it real quick. When you got a center who doesn't want to play around the basket, and you've got a guy like Kevin Durant who gets you a lot of rebounds already, he's going to get rebounds tomorrow. He's going to get steals. He's going to get block shots, and then he's already scoring, right? He's already scoring. I think tomorrow night is another one of those KD nights. That's early on. That's what I'm going to say right now. That Kevin Durant will probably be a good chance to make my core tomorrow.
All right. So real quick, hey, do yourselves a favor. Go check out our results for tonight. For the past 5 days, we've been on absolute fire. 5 days straight. FanDuel and DraftKings cash line's been going bananas. Hey, making some money right now. The money team is rolling. Go check us out at RotoBeats, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The results are posted. Hey, join the money team. Visit our website, dfscheatsheet.com. And that's all I got, man. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.